Have you ever wondered what happens when your HOA president decides your quiet corner lot is suddenly community property? What if the same woman who fines you for a single dandelion has been secretly pocketing developer bribes while smiling at block parties? And what if one slandered veteran who everyone called that unstable loner finally opened the gate and the whole scam collapsed in front of federal agents? Willow Creek Estates looked like every other picture-perfect Texas suburb. Identical beige houses, flawless lawns, and those passive-aggressive signs everywhere screaming community standards matter. But peel back the HOA welcome packet and you found Karen Whitmore, president for 6 straight years, the woman who once wrote up old Mrs. Jenkins for excessive garden gnome population, and billed the young couple on Maple Street $350 because their truck was parked in an aesthetically disruptive manner. She wore pastel power suits, spoke in that syrupy, "I'm just here to help" voice, and kept a spreadsheet of every neighbor's sins like it was her personal Bible. Property values, she preached. Always for the children. I was Jack Harlan. Purple Heart, 2 tours that left me with scars I didn't talk about and a need for silence I couldn't explain. I'd bought the old family ranch parcel right on the edge of Willow Creek after my discharge, technically outside their HOA but close enough that Karen decided it was her divine right to control. For months she'd been whispering. Keeps to himself too much. Probably has PTSD or something. Bad for resale values, you know. Neighbors started crossing the street. Block party invites stopped. My mailbox. Veterans like you lower everyone's equity. Consider relocating. I stayed quiet. I documented every fine, every rumor, every late-night text she sent to the board. Patience is a weapon they don't teach in basic training, but I learned it the hard way. It all exploded on a blistering Tuesday afternoon. I was checking the cattle troughs when 3 black SUVs roared up my private gravel road like they owned the place. Dust billowed like a cheap Western. Sweat already darkening the armpits of her designer suit despite the AC she'd clearly been blasting. 2 guys in polyester uniforms flanked her, badges that screamed Amazon Prime, holsters positioned like TV cops who'd never touched a range. "Open this gate immediately, Mr. Harlan," she snapped, manicured nail jabbing the iron bars. "Or I'll have you arrested for obstructing community access." County Ordinance 73-42 gives the HOA inspection rights over any road servicing more than 5 properties. I didn't move. Cowboy hat low, voice calm like I was discussing the weather. "Ma'am, that ordinance was repealed in 2019. My road services exactly 1 property, mine. This is private land." Her laugh cracked like cheap porcelain. "Your heart. My records show this access was designated a community thoroughfare back in 1987. We maintain property values for 300 families here, Mr. Harlan. Affects everyone." Behind her the fake cops nodded like bobbleheads. One kept glancing at his watch. The other's uniform strained across shoulders that had clearly never seen a gym, let alone academy training. I pulled the folded federal land grant papers from my pocket, Bureau of Land Management stamp still crisp. These say otherwise. Decommissioned military reserve transferred to private ownership. No easements. Karen's face did that thing where it tried to stay polite but the Botox couldn't hide the twitch. She doubled down, voice climbing. "Survey records can be wrong, dear. And military reservations come with all sorts of federal restrictions, environmental checks, surprise inspections. I wonder if your little activities are fully compliant." The threat hung there, laced with that fake concern Karen's weaponized like perfume. She was fishing but she'd hooked the wrong fish. That's when I noticed the sweat rings spreading. Nothing says moral authority like a woman preaching community standards, while her designer blouse turns into a wet t-shirt contest. I smiled small cold. It's more to leave. After that I contact the real authorities. She whipped out her phone like it was a lightsaber. "Blake? It's Karen. Using mandatory inspection." "Yes, threatening." The performance was Oscar-worthy. Moved. Yet in her version I was already a gun-toting maniac endangering the neighborhood. 20 minutes later, Deputy Blake Garrison rolled up in a real cruiser. Younger than expected, soft around the edges, the kind of cop who got the job through golf with the right people. Karen launched into her concerned citizen routine. "Deputy, this man is obstructing HOA governance and scaring families." Garrison looked at me with that prejudged stare. I stayed polite. "Gentlemen are impersonating officers. The documents she's waving are fabricated. No filing exists with the County Planning Commission." I dialed right there. Spoke in that crisp military shorthand that makes bureaucrats snap to attention. When I hung up, no active cases. No enforcement actions. Karen's face cycled red, white, green. The fake cops started edging toward their SUV like rats smelling a sinking ship. Garrison's eyes narrowed. Private security dressed like federal agents? For a road inspection. The hole she dug was now a crater. But Karen Whitmore didn't retreat. She went nuclear. "This is ridiculous. Mr. Harlan is endangering property values for 300 families. I'll pursue civil action, injunctions, damages." She was sweating so hard her mascara started running, black rivers of hypocrisy down her cheeks. The neighbors who'd been peeking from their porches were getting quite the show, black humor at its finest. The queen of fines melting like cheap ice cream in the Texas sun while trying to steal land she had no claim to. I handed Garrison my card, Washington, D.C. Law firm that only takes federal veteran cases. His face changed. The military ID came out next. Active reserve status. Made local cops sweat more than Karen. Garrison's voice dropped to a whisper. "I apologize." Karen tried one last desperate swing. "Federal land or not, community safety standards still apply. Hazardous materials, unpermitted structures. Classic Karen move. When the law fails, invent new violations." She had no clue my unpermitted structures were Cold War bunkers with direct federal lines, or that my workshop could fix anything from tractors to tactical vehicles, all perfectly legal for a cleared veteran. I leaned in just enough. "Interesting accusation, Mrs. Whitmore. Federal environmental inspectors? While they're here, they can check the Meridian Development Project you're being paid $230,000 to push through my land." The bomb dropped. Her mouth opened and closed like a goldfish on a hook. The fake cops abandoned her completely, sprinting for their SUV after a panicked text. Karen stood alone in the dust, authority evaporating faster than her dignity. Back at the Willow Creek Community Center, Karen's secretary Evelyn sat staring at her screen in growing horror. 4 years of emails, bank transfers, the $230,000 kickback from Meridian Development Shell Company, Cayman Islands money, the whole $18 million fraud machine built on fake fines, manufactured code violations, and quiet intimidation of 46 other families. Evelyn had told herself it was just aggressive management. Now she saw the spreadsheet titled Acquisition Targets, with my name at the top. Her hands shook as she copied everything to a secure drive. Karen's frantic call came next. "Evelyn, delete every Meridian file now." The paid time off bribe was the final tell. Evelyn lied sweetly, then spent the next hour building the case that would bury her boss. By sunset she was on the phone with the FBI Houston field office. Bribery, conspiracy, fraud involving federal land rights. I have everything. The next morning my ranch looked like a discreet federal operation. Black sedans with government plates. A surveillance van disguised as a utility truck. Agent Morrison, sharp-eyed and no-nonsense, met me at the county road. "Major, your little property dispute just cracked open a 6-year racket. 46 families forced out at rock-bottom prices. Meridian flipped the land for triple the profit. You were number 47. That evening Karen called an emergency HOA meeting to rally the neighborhood against federal overreach. She showed up in her best suit, hair sprayed into submission, ready to play victim on camera. The parking lot was standing room only. Neighbors clutching phones, local news vans outside. Karen took the stage like a queen. Our community is under attack by federal agents interfering with legitimate governance. This started when one uncooperative resident refused to follow standards, the room murmured. Ruth Kingsley stood, longtime Karen supporter. They showed me the emails, Karen. You called us targets. You took bribes to force sales. Gasps rippled. Marcus Webb, the bank guy who once sided with her, cleared his throat. You embezzled $89,000 from our maintenance fund. The Henderson couple held up their tablet. We're suing you. 47 families, $22 million in damages. Karen's face cycled colors again, sweat pouring like she was in a sauna. Her voice cracked. Smear. I was protecting property values. Black humor peaked. The woman who'd fined people for dandelions was now begging for mercy, while her empire burned in real time. Agent Morrison walked down the aisle, 6 agents fanning out. Karen Whitmore, you're under arrest for conspiracy, racketeering, money laundering, and federal mail fraud. Handcuffs clicked. The woman who'd terrorized the suburb for years was marched out in front of everyone she'd bullied, mascara rivers carving canyons down her cheeks. The fake cops and bribed deputy went down with her. The board members who'd known? Charged. 6 months later, Evelyn ran the first honest HOA meeting in years. I sent a quiet $50,000 donation to the community fund with one condition: total transparency. The luxury resort died. Institution. Karen started her 12-year federal vacation. The gossip stopped. Here's the thing, folks, the Karens thrive because we let them. They hide behind standards and values, while running scams that would make Wall Street blush. But when one quiet veteran refuses to bend and knows the difference between real authority and cheap polyester costumes, the whole house of cards folds. Document everything. And remember, the sweetest justice isn't loud revenge. It's watching fake power melt under real sunlight. Stay vigilant out there.